Enugu Adama Duzionu Muna Bogochi I manune tata sigola kwado your various businesses Enugu state government sikwa na tata abroka public holiday onye obuna kunye je gbaba mbo ya side nke ya. It's already 7 minutes past the hour of 8 o'clock and you're with us on the site. Good morning, Coal City, a special edition. Ebaina Sunni Igbo, Konya Obuna Ogbu Igbo, Neganya, Tibonya Bay, no, Ihaini, what's ya called buying arrow. And get up matters of the moment, Ogo, Okwa, Nono, Chatano, Governor Peter Mbah is still in the mood of a celebration. I mean, and the entire cabinet. Yana ndi Obuna bi nde ihe demma na demma as the government led by Peter Mbah marks first anniversary in office. Our focus today, Bona, creating an enabling environment for businesses and investment. Our guest, like I told you earlier on, is Dr. Sam Ogbu-Nwobodo. Emphasis on Ogbu-Nwobodo. Doctor.
Nice to see you and thanks for having me on your station.
Okay, he's the MD, CEO, a champion of investment development. Right here, he is here. He will talk to us on the plans of Enugu State Government, on the achievement, the milestone achieved, and the way forward. Doc, you got someone on the buying. Governor.
It will be Mama.
And your West. The Enugu State came my Mapabu State in the Oluibu 9 to 5. Onye bi olu ona akofo black bia na for that no lose the fo black bia na anyakwo government tax na ego akwulan nke fo na anya na manage anya soro kwa na ndị so boss sirike kama na ọ dị ka ọ ga-adị anya sị government sinyekwala ego na nke na akwụ anyị ọ ihe eji mala Enugu State anya bụrụ ndị afia anya bụrụ ndị Onitsha anya bụrụ ndị Nnewi anya bụrụ ndị Aba if we bring it home to southeast. I am governor potasi anyị na ebe a na-atụghalịpịa ka big companies nwee interest ebe onye chọọ ịzụ afia ocheta Enugu onye chọọ imepe business onye chọọ expansion ocheta Enugu anyị wee sotekọkwa ibido gbawa mba ịkpọta gị o ka ịgwa anyị plans mana unu alụgo ọrụ ifugo ka o si dị. First of all, get the plans government ji ime na ihe a bụ ihe a ga-eme before anyị ebidozi ekwube n'ihe ndị achieved so far. The plans.
Thank you. Ndị be anyị kene m. Ịma na development bụ ihe a na-abụ ewuru ụkọdị ọnụ ofu ada arapụ ibe ya. And oge Governor Peter Mbah took office, it was obvious to everyone that he was prepared. Being a thoroughbred lawyer, a businessman, and investment person that has proven it in the private sector. It was obvious. He came in with a plan. That plan with actionable points. And that actionable point is realizable, though very ambitious, because each change here, he get change here in a big way. Your vision must be large. So his vision is large, and what is that vision? To move us from 3 billion GDP economy to a 30 billion economy in 4 to 8 years. Before the guys say, are they possible, or they're possible, or they possible, and what is hard, they're possible. Once you put your neutral format, you think it through, you put the plans in place, your focus, you have the political will, it is possible. And then you communicate and carry the people. In Enugu, the issue, the characterization that Naibu civil service place is a myth. We are still fundamentally hard-working Nigerians, and most especially Igbos. Ndị anyị na-akpọ na Nnewi akpọ ha na Lagos akpọ akwa ndị Enugu sokwa we make up those group. So nwere ihe dị iche. Ihe need the leadership, and I have to go the leadership of Governor Peter Mbah. Ọ bụ nọọsụ civil service ọ bịa na onye Enugu ka ibia mana he left and went and became one of the top businessmen in Nigeria. So that same thing, that's no yepo that's what he has come back to do. So in doing that, he has adopted a very specific but cross-sectorial plan. And investment promotion, attracting investment, will certain indices they check here, which is regarded as indicators. These indicators have been adopted by countries that have expanded, that have grown, the advanced ones, the soon to advance, and also most of the countries that are in our own category. And what are those indicators? For an economy to grow through investment, because that's the only way you can grow. You cannot grow by taxing. You have to grow the economy so that people will have the capacity, and the tax pool and the business activities will be expansive. Once you put in place the following, you will attract investors, and investors will grow the economy and generate enough economic activities to generate that fund that you need for development. Government will do its own, businesses will do their own. And what are those 4 indicators? The number 1 indicator is great infrastructure and security. The number 2 indicator is a very transparent and accessible information network. Businesses must be able to trust and access your information. The other one is a fair and efficient regulatory environment. And finally, the 4th one is availability of skilled labor, both technical and professional. And so, if you look at this, you're not reinventing the wheel. You're just adopting something that has worked all over the world, and recommended by the World Bank, IMF, even the Nigerian states has adopted this as a yardstick, as a benchmark by which states and nations are measured. When you talk about great infrastructure, you're looking at things like, and they are specific in the plans of the governor that has fit into these 4 indicators. Of course, you know, I'm extracting the aspect of investment from his broad, robust and achievable manifesto, because you know how to create an enabling environment for Enugu State. I'm the MD of the Investment Authority, and by the grace of God and through the privilege conferred by His Excellency, I'm also the reform champion on business environment reforms in the state, and I represent also the Southeast in the reform and the national reform agenda for the business enablement. So when I speak about this, I'm a bit passionate about it. So when you talk about the great infrastructure, you will be looking for electricity. You'll be looking for primary health care, because you'll be looking for things like water. You'll be looking for security. What is the robust security network and architecture that is put in place? And once we finish, we can also go into specific details about how he has measured in all these indicators. And that's why I want to frame the discussion so we focus and we direction. And so when you look at transparent and accessible information flow, what are those things put in place? How is it for me, a businessman or a potential investor, to stay in New York or stay in Tokyo and assess what I need to do to get land, for instance? How is taxes paid in this place I want to go? What are those access to credit and funds? What is the nature of your permits for building factories and all that? So how you do that? Am I able to do these things without coming to a specific office? Or am I able to do these things without knowing anybody? To remove all the issues of Imam Madu and remove the discretionary bottleneck that is bogged us down for forever. That is how you look at that. And then when you come to fair and efficient regulatory environment, you're talking about what are the taxes? How easy is it for me to pay? How do I know that now if you give me one consolidated demand notice, once I pay it, nobody will come and bother me? How do I get my tax clearance? How do I get the process of getting the building permits, for instance? The process of accessing land, acquiring it, and getting the title. Is it fair? Do I have to go to 10 banks to pay for 1 CFO, or do I just pay at any bank and reduce the time I spent running around on the bureaucracy and focus on my business, free up the time I spend on fuel, free up the time and focus on business and grow it. So you look at that also. And then finally, you look at what are those things put in place to develop both the formal, primary, secondary, and tertiary education, but also post-formal education. What are those skill acquisition standards? What are the government doing to encourage acquisition of the kind of skills that businesses want? So that if a business is trying to come to Enugu, for instance, what assures that business that when I come here there will be abundant skilled and professional manpower, or must I bring my own people from China or wherever? So that's how you develop, you bring investment. Investment is not just talking. So the building block, the foundational issues must be put in place, and that is how His Excellency's administration, Peter Mbah, has gone. That's how it's proceeded in a structured, focused manner. The rest is going to be history because the investors are excited about what we are doing. And permit me, at your instance, whenever you want, I can start giving specifics in these 4 standard area. I mean, people talking this. These are the way. If you meet this standard.
You have the floor already, Dr. Sam.
So did I know that? Thank you.
I wanted to ask. These are the questions.
Chioma, I didn't think you know. Oh, wonderful.
So go ahead and
thank you. Thank you. So I don't need to point out the achievements made in 1 year within the infrastructure sector. I mean, His Excellency within this 1 year completed 77 urban roads. That's a feat. That's enough for 8 years.
For most governments.
Yes. That's
77.
I was at the commissioning of the Doriva Umuchu Road yesterday. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, His Excellency built, the government built an incredible road in a pond. That place is a pond. I have an auntie that lives in. I used to go there, and it's. I mean, you're talking about tires inside water, green water, planks to walk through. They excavated it 6 feet down. I'm just giving an example. So nothing is a challenge. 77 urban roads, in addition to the major one that's been done, the dual carriage from off that tears off Abakaliki, Enugu Abakaliki Road through to Ogbu-Nwobodo. You're talking about the duration of the Abakaliki road from the airport point all the way to the airport state junction. I mean, these are enormous infrastructure that will open up. We are talking about the terminals, the super terminals at the Holy Ghost. I mean, you can see that things are happening there. You're talking about the feeding mini terminals at the Suka, at Ninth Man, at Gariki, and the Four Corners. I mean, this is how you modernize a system, put order in place. If you like the way Holy Ghost used to be, then you don't belong in this new reality of Enugu State. Mm-hmm. But if you think we deserve better, nobody says we should walk around poor. That's so. These are just simple examples. I mean, when it comes to the water infrastructure, I mean, I can tell you that His Excellency's administration outstanded me, because it is literally impossible in Nigeria to build a 5.5 megawatt gas-powered plant in less than 6 months. I mean, how did he do that? So that's also impressive, but that takes focus and determination. So the water system of Enugu State, the generation capacity and distribution capacity, is now backed up by an independent power plant, IPP, that runs on gas. And whether there's grid power from EEDC or NEPA, as you may call it, or not, we have enough energy to power our gas. The production of water had gone like tenfold, from less than 10 million scopes liters to 120, and we are built to hit 200. So we have water. We pumped water for the people because he promised 180 days. Fortunately, most areas got it, but some areas, because of the dilapidated reticulation, some of those pipes have been under the ground for over 60 years. Asbestos, nobody uses those anymore. They are cancerous. There's so there's massive effort. That's why you can see all these disruptions in the road digging and all that. So that is also something that's been achieved within this short time. We're talking about electricity. For you to take over your own electricity, you must have the regulatory power. Otherwise, you depend on whatever is done in Abuja. And fortunately, the Nigerian state made that laudable decision to unbundle electricity, to devolve the electricity regulatory powers from the exclusive to the concurrent. So it's gone down. Any state can now take its own destiny by its hands and then evolve their own electricity market. And as soon as that happened, this administration, this focused administration, moved faster than anybody. And without the state quickly had its own electricity law, quickly set up the electricity market, set up the regulatory commission, Enugu State Electricity Commission, and now pushed forward to now have it formally devolved by NEC. NEC is the National Regulatory Agency for Electricity. NEC came here and said, okay, here, you're ready. We certify what you've done, take over the regulation of the power. An average man will say, but my NEPA, my this is still not improved, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it may not in the short term, but what we've achieved, what this government has achieved, is that investors now know that you don't have to go to Abuja with the amorphous bureaucracy. You come to a state that is ready, and now get your license, get your PP, the power purchase agreement, get whatever regulatory support you need, the incentives to build those power and also distribute it. So that we are going to create, with all this that's been done in the power sector, we control our power now. We regulate even the EEDC, even though EEDC was licensed by the national body, but they are within this place. So with time, you will now see competition. And with competition, like what's happened in telecommunication, things will start working. The electricity market will work in Enugu State. We are about the first. Others are coming to learn. How is it that you did it? Remember that devolution of powers under the Constitution was just done. I mean, it's not even up to a year. But we have our own regulatory agency, the law, everything in place. And by the way, part of my specialty is in power development and infrastructure as a lawyer. Okay, so I can tell you that what has been done in that sector, the foundational work that has been done in that sector is amazing. The speed, the decisiveness that it took to do it impresses me. And when I speak passionately about what I know. And if I think it's something that I don't believe, I will say my mind. So I can tell you that the deliberateness, the decisiveness that has been employed by this government is outstanding. For me, yeah, maybe because I'm close and I know what's going on. But the people need to know and start trusting. And that's why you're here. That's why I'm here. And so there's so many other areas of infrastructure. Then security, which is part of the first indicator. I mean, you can see that what it was with all the issues about you sit at home, lie at home, don't go anywhere and all that. As soon as it came, that was handled decisively. We now have an evolving program of a central command system that will soon track and see anything going on in the state by cameras, digital, employing ICT technology to improve security while also doing the so-called kinetic or the muzzle one. You have to also do the soft ones that's actually what most economies, what most societies are moving towards. I mean, I've seen some economies that use robots as police. So we're moving, but we have to put that in place. So I think on the first indicator, the state is actually overshot my expectation and overshot any reasonable expectation. We cannot disagree on politics and all that, but if if you go into your code resources, I'm sure you will agree that a lot has happened. Transparency and accessibility of information. I mean, today as I speak to you, the first thing that His Excellency did when he came to office on the 29th of May last year was he signed that Executive Order number 3. And what does he say? He said the economy grow through transparency and improvement of business environment. And the first thing was mandated every MDA in the state. MDAs are ministries, agencies, the departments and agencies of government to now come up with a service level agreement. Service level agreement is like I will give you this form, you will fill it, and in 5 days, in 1 day, whatever, you get this result. And that's where we came in to help every of these single MDAs, especially the ones that we call the BEEs, the Business Enabling MDAs, streamline their processes, remove redundancy, remove time-wasting, rigorous processes, and simplify it. And once that's been done, with His Excellency's oversight and the direction, the MDA's heads, the commissioners and whoever they are, Water Corporation, Ministry of Works, Capital Trade, everybody, the heads of those departments signed on to that MDAs, those the SLAs, the Service Level Agreement, and they uploaded it online. So, but what is unique about that Executive Order 3 is the introduction of the default approval system. If you said, if government has put out there to the people through the SLAs that we all worked very hard to put in place, and it's transparent there, and you say that if I do this to get let's just say for instance, if I want water connection, and the SLA says, gives me all the processes that I must adhere to. And by the way, those processes were reformed and refined so that there's no inefficiency or redundancy. You don't have to, And so if you say you're going to do this within certain time, say like 7 days, and I meet all those standards, and you fail to revert back to me in a written form that, yes, you missed this form, or you did not state this, or the money you paid was not complete, pay this, or that we approve or we deny. If you don't do that within that time that is specified in your service level agreement as an MDA, the citizen that is seeking that service by this executive order signed by His Excellency on the 29th of May can assume that there's a decision in his favor, and that's what is called a default decision. That is incredible, that is innovative, that is something unusual. It tells you that, okay, I am sure that I can get my MDAs to work the way I want them to work, and the way they fail, the citizen can assume, so there's no other tool better than that. Obviously things continue to reform and refine, keep pushing our people to rise to the occasion, and it's happening. And so the information network is now, in online, you can see that, and very soon we're going to deploy a lot of community and public service and all manner of communication tactics to get the people, especially the businesses, to know, because a lot of times it's ignorance. You don't know, you think government is harassing you. It's about communication. So we're doing that. When it comes to regulatory environment, like I said, you are required to have fair regulatory environment. And by the way, in all these 4 indicators, let me also say that the world standard, the standard in international standard, is that they must have a gender dimension. Mm-hmm. As you do all that, you also track how is it that of course, these days is actually, see, you're the powerhouse here. So maybe the gender is not on my own side, but again, you know what I mean. The gender dimension are women and the vulnerable being carried along. What are those mitigants to the mitigation measure to minimize any form of actual or perceived exclusion from this thing? So you have to also keep tracking it. You track how many women are starting business, for instance. What is it that is keeping them from starting? How can we help improve that? How many women own lands? for instance, when it comes to like permit, how many women own land, and why are they not owning land? And you do that by tracking the number of CFOs granted or power of attorney or whatever is registered in a digital archives, which is set up there too. So that helps you to look at, okay, the social factor, the women are not participating, we must do something. Maybe, so it helps government to formulate. So these are all the things that is being done to improve. And what is important is that the journey is moving, the journey has started, and it's deliberate, it is focused, it is sincere. Okay, so
what's the success actually as regards that fair regulation?
I'm coming. I'm coming. So I'm trying to learn some of these things, because if you don't learn them in specific achievements, you think you're just speaking grammar. So in this fair regulatory environment, we also talk about the complaint redress system. How easy is it for businesses, especially the small and medium businesses, to enforce contract, to resolve disputes? How is it amongst themselves, and what is the grievance redress mechanism put in place for them to also resolve grievances with government? And for the first time, we have a citizens gate online, and these are things that we have to be reminding our people. Yes, I like that when callers call in and make these comments, but it's also important to go to the website and go to that citizen gate and key in your concern.
What's the website?
Enugustate.gov.ng.
Okay, Enugustate.gov.ng.
You will see a landing page on the citizen gate, the GRM, the grievance redress mechanism. You go there. It's a very organic, growing website that is being deployed with focus. So again, you can go there and state this. And our role will now be to see it and direct you to the MTAs that is responsible and track the result. So that is where we're going. I welcome calls, but also when we finish, go there and key in this so that we can have actionable requests from you. And so the state also moved quickly. Something that has never been done. We established within this 1 year the small claim system. The small claim system is a mechanism that was developed and perfected in the US. I'm very familiar with the process, having practiced law there. But what it does is small businesses whose focus is on growing their business should not be bogged down in lengthy litigation. So it's a device where if I have a dispute amongst the businesses and it's within certain subject matter jurisdiction, say in Enugu is 10 million or below, in some other zone is more or it could be less. If we have such a dispute, like you sold me, for instance, a long span that you said is 7 gauge, but you sold me 4 gauge and I need to return it. I can, instead of going there to punch you or do all these other extra judicial measures, you go to the small claims and sue the person, sue the manufacturer. But give me my money. And then you state your claim. If it's under that 10 million, the small claims is mandated to resolve that case with or without lawyers on both sides. You're free to have lawyers, but you don't need to, because the judges, 10 of them distributed in the various judicial districts of Enugu State, Enugu North, Enugu South, Ngozikah, and others. You can go to any of them on your own. Go and get the form from the court. Fill it out. It's all ready made. State your claims as simple as you can. Those judges have been trained and continue to be trained to listen. And a good judge should know whether with or without lawyer who is telling the truth.
It's free of charge.
It's free of charge now.
Free of charge.
Of course, when you file a suit in court, these things are minimal.
How fast is it?
You set up for 30 days maximum, and you're done with it.
Okay.
You know, you're done with it. Unlike some of these things go for years and years. I've seen cases that stay in court for 10 years. By the time you finish, even the people have made up and some of them have taken off. So yeah, so that's another mechanism. And that 30 days is actually at the edge of it. Because this court were launched in November. So as they're improving their process, the target is 14 days. You know, even the practice directions that was published by the court. Okay, so to deploy 10 small claims court, not 1, not 10, is also a monumental attempt to ease the grievance and dispute resolution system. You may not understand what it means, but that is fundamental as you do business. You come from, for instance, say Calabar to come and buy something here. If you know that if they cheat you can come back and within 15 days you get your money, you'll be coming. So that's part of the development. And then the abundance of skilled labor and all that. Both post-tertiary, a number of programs are in place at the Small and Medium Enterprise Center that is well manned, and the young man there is just incredible. Yes. So talk about the soft skills, the ICT, the AI, and all that. There's always a program for people that want to learn. We're not going to come to your house and pull you out, but there's always a program. But then,
I know you said something. We won't come to your house and pull you out. It boils down on knowledge, on information.
There's information.
There is need for this information to disseminate across.
And it's been done. Are there room for improvement? Of course, like in everything, we must improve. But I mean, most of these programs are oversubscribed. The state has trained over 30,000 youths in all facets. Even now they're doing some in carpentry and artisanal skills. Okay, so it's ongoing, and His Excellency is putting emphasis on it. His Excellency is funding, and development partners and even private sector is also involved in helping to drive that. But important again is, how do you also catch them young? How do you also catch them young? While you're dealing with the people that's already at the job ready at the job market, you also have to start somewhere, and that's the whole idea of the smart school system, from ages 3 until secondary school. Okay, this is another one of those innovative, disruptive concepts that our kids must come out ready and prepared, equipped with knowledge to compete with anybody all over the world. You don't wait until they finish, then you start doing relation. It's something that is started. So this is how you can see that all these things are tied in education, in transportation, in judiciary, in civil service, and by the way, if an MDA that continues to beat the SLA requirement, the head of those MDAs are at the risk of discipline and all that. So it's in everybody's interest to do what they need to do. So His Excellency is really set up this ship to move without stop.
Your point is that all of the things he has done are geared towards creating an enabling environment. And all of his activities.
All these things are planned. They're not accidental. They're planned, well thought out. Intentional, like it's become a cliche. Intentional. We've been intentional both in the planning, both in the creation, and also in the implementation. Just that you have to look at where the society is coming from. The society is being jolted to know that we can do better. We deserve to do better as a people.
Okay. Why telephone now so that onye chọrọ ịjụ Dr. Sam Ogbu-Nwobodo ajụjụ n'ihe ndị a niile o kwuchago ihe niile anya nke ajụ I'm an rather I hope you know. So buying a phone, you draw you check it as regards enabling environment for business and investment in Enugu State. The numbers to call are 0907 275 9950, 0907 275 9950, or 0706 815 8029, 0706 815 8029. Ka ọ na-emechi ihe ndị a niile, enwechakwa ihe ndị ọzọ ị na-ekwubere. So anyị ga-ajụ gị ihe o ji wee mee the round table summit, the visits, the various business and investment visits he had abroad. And apart from that particular round table, businessmen of Southeast extraction had young meeting. So ihe ndị a niile ọ na-eme ebe ọ bụ na ọ na-egi ihe ndị a that they should naturally be attracted to Enugu State in terms of investment. Kedu ihe ndị nke ahụ kwuru?
Thank you very much. His Excellency Dr. Peter Mbah, in a way makes my job a lot easier because he is the chief marketer of the state. If you look at his eyes, he sees sincerity and focus. And so he goes out to also promote the state. He believes in the state. He believes that the state has all the resources to achieve to exceed its developmental goals. And as such, both the international community has gone to Indonesia to talk to them, and they put in place a number of incentives for them to come. We are working with a number of these Asian investors. Obviously, investors don't pack and come in one day. You're not going to see the industry in 1 year, but you're going to see them very, very soon because the development process of these projects are ongoing. The licensing and all that ongoing. He's been to, he just came back from Austria.
I wish na onye na-ege anyị ntị kpọrọ kịta kwuo obi ya gbasara investment and business and not go on social media to fight wars that you may never have see the end or have a positive result. Dr. Sam Ogbu-Nwobodo would have answered you because onye ọbụla na-ada ala olu Igbo n'Enugu State na-eme business so just sustain onwe unless it's more in nke iwu na-akwadoro. For want of time, we are concluding this conversation here. You've been listening to Dr. Sam Ogbu-Nwobodo, MD, CEO, Enugu State Investment Development Authority, and a reform
state reform champion and the Southeast representative and the reform set up at the
So any reform we see in terms of businesses and investment in Enugu, you are at the forefront of the campaign.
It's coming from His Excellency the Governor and implement.
Okay.
He approves and he enables me and I implement.
Okay.
So it's coming from him. My own is to aggressively, but once he's giving me the guy, I back out the door and implement it.
Dr. Sam,
Alright.
you live in 30 seconds, but ụfọdụ na-emebele business na side anyị ada amụkwa n'oyibo niile anyị nwere nnọọ nke ikwu and ịbụ onye Enugu steeti. Ọ bụ na Igbo general ekpọrọ gị na village pụta in 30 seconds say something.
Onuche wọrọ Dr. Peter Mbah ibu ọma aka nọ n'ihu nwoke dị oke ọ dị ready. Ihe ovu n'obi bụ sọsọ ya nọtụ ewu ya so Onuche wọrọ biko n'uche ya tikwa n'ekpere eye na understanding ye support shati ya n'ekpere mana ihe obu n'obi for ndị Enugu abụọ ihe ọ dị already. Thank you.
Dr. Sam Ogbu-Nwobodo, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Governor Peter Mbah's first anniversary. Our focus was on creating an enabling environment for businesses and investment. Our time is fast spent and we're rising from the site of Good Morning Coal City in the Enugu, our special Thursday edition of our breakfast show. And of course, Ogbu-Nwobodo, matters of the moment, ends at this point. We'll make way to bring you Sunrise Sports in a bit, but I'm inviting you to join us on the Thank Goodness It's Friday edition of this program tomorrow from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. My name is Ngozikah, Mbah, wishing you a pleasurable Thursday.
Chioma Agulanna.